I mean, when the Trevor is away, the Unboxing Life boys will play.
Yeah, these harlots can get out of my DMs.
Yep, that's true. I got 99 problems, and harlots in my DMs are one of them.
Yo, that sounds like it would be a perfect line for the intro.
So it's a lot of stuff that's making no sense. I'm talking on a podcast, working off minimal info and just stabbing in the dark at every option and hoping I'm right about a single one, and I'll probably just be wrong about everything.
And then we're like looking up on our phones, when's the best time to pee during Endgame?
So they knew this is the new level of like The Simpsons telling the future. Is like Marvel knew that they were gonna have to deal with a pandemic and basically set it up so that they have no losses.
I would not put it past them to like consult epidemiologists to make sure that like they got stuff on time. Like, I swear they have stuff planned out like freaking masterminds. Now I'm just drawing a blank.
Anytime I try to think about stuff like that, it's like, oh, I know I do this all the time, and I'm thinking of the one example that got brought up, and I can think of nothing else.
Yep, that's how my brain works too.
To get into it,
yeah, I mean, we could slap the intro in. We could slap the intro in right now.
All right, so we're gonna start it right now. Welcome to episode 47 of the Unboxing Life. Beautiful people.
Very good.
Welcome everybody.
I'm joined by my boys. I'm joined by David.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We got a man down for the episode, but we're carrying on. We're trooping forward. We're soldiering on. Mm-hmm.
I'm also joined by Cameron.
What's up, everybody? David, you trying to seduce me or seduce the audience? Talking nice and deep and low and slow over there. That was making me feel some type of way.
I feel like when I try to talk that way, I fail. But then that's funny.
Then Daddy David comes out of the woodwork whenever you don't expect it.
Dang. And we're also not joined by Treasure Coon, who is currently absent because he's in the moving process. He's making big boy moves, so he had to take a break for an episode. But he'll be back for music box we got coming
later in the week. Yeah. Absolutely. Congratulations to the boy. Alex and I were just, helping him move a couple days ago, and it was a big process. We'll probably talk about it more when he's here, but it's a heck of a thing.
I didn't help out for two reasons. A, being that I fucking hate him, but B, being that I'm 1,500 miles away. So that also was part of it.
That's a brash excuse.
That's outlandish. He didn't come for the free dinner to lift heavy stuff all day. Yeah,
take a flight to move for one day. Oof, that is tough. Yeah,
I wonder what the prices are right now. Honestly,
yeah, they're probably really inexpensive. Like no joke. Like the other day, I seen like a flight to New York for like $40.
Oh wow, what the heck?
Yeah, when I was gonna fly back, and when I ended up flying back in April of 2020 to Miami from Boston, it was like $32 one way, and then we didn't pull the trigger on those tickets because it was far enough out, and then it was like $230 when we bought it 2 days out. And they increased the price by like, I don't know what fucking math that is. That's at least times 7 or something like that. So
at least a lot.
Yeah. As someone who was like broke my entire college career, whenever I like miss an opportunity to save money, I would just beat myself up for like a week. It's like, God dang it, bro.
Yeah,
so frustrated.
I'm currently sitting on tickets to Disney that I bought before the pandemic was about to happen, basically, and so I have until like the end of this year to use them or something like that, because Disney isn't like completely evil, and they actually like allowed me to do that, and it's only like $110 ticket or something like that. But I'll be damned if I don't take a flight down just to get use out of it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, not only was it actually before the pandemic, but you were actually in the state. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now you're no longer in the state, so it's inconvenient.
It was a couple-hour drive. Honestly, I think I think I might technically be as far from Orlando by plane where I am right now as I was by car in Miami. I think it would have taken me like 2.5 hours, no matter what, to get to Orlando. But obviously going to the airport is a much more involved process of like, I'm like 45 minutes from the airport actually. So it's like, and then
that's tough.
Doing the hotels and everything. It's obviously all that time exists. But yeah, enough about airfare. You guys want to do traditions?
Let's hop into it. Yeah.
All right. I'm hoping I'm not going to lose the video when I do mine. But Alex, do you want to assign?
Yeah,
as the introer.
I like facts, so I'm trying to hear
like facts. All right. We're going to find out if this completely ends the record or decks the recording when I open my browser back up. I hope it's still there.
Ooh.
All right, so I got it to not deck the recording. So the fact today is about The Office, and specifically about actor John Krasinski, who was in the 2008 movie Leatherheads. And to be able to act in that movie, he had to get a haircut. And so that coincided with season 3 of The Office. And so because he had an ongoing contract with The Office, he had to get NBC's permission to do this movie if he wanted the role. And so the whole thing was like they turned him down because they didn't want him to change his hairstyle for the show. So he's like, I'll just wear a wig. It'll be fine. I can wear a wig. And so they were like, no, we could tell if it was a wig. Like, you wouldn't look good in a wig. We'd be able to tell. Little did they know, that entire meeting, he had already gone and talked with the hairstylist of the show, and he was wearing the wig in the meeting. And so they told him no. They told him all the reasons why he can't wear the wig because it wouldn't look realistic and it would be bad and they don't want it to happen. And then he takes the wig off his head and puts it on the table and is like, so basically now you have to let me do this.
Honestly, sounds like something that could happen in The Office. That could be a scene. That's hilarious.
Yeah, actually, that's really funny. It definitely could be. So yeah, that's how John Krasinski got to be in Leatherheads, which is a movie about old timey football that George Clooney stars in. Yeah, it's a good one. I think I've seen that one. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so, there you go. Little entertainment fun fact.
Bossed up move by the man. Nice.
I'm gonna give my joke.
Okay.
All right. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself?
I know this one.
It something about bipedal. I want to say that, but that might not be it.
Yeah, it walked too far because it's bipedal, and then it became too tired.
Oh,
too tired! Wow.
Was that it?
Is that it?
This man stole the punchline.
I feel like I gotta get it every once in a while. I don't get it like every single week. Every single episode. True. We do these twice a week, and I never get them. I feel like I get to get one eventually, right?
Yeah. But it's so unsatisfying to just have it.
Damn. All right. It was kind of satisfying for me though, so I'll commit the same.
Yeah.
I'll ask for forgiveness rather than permission on that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Wow.
Yeah,
absolute cuck lord. Cameron stole my title for this
I've taken the moniker of the absolute cuck lord. Jesus.
That's good.
All right. Now I'm passing it off to my man David.
Yes, sir. Let me remind myself.
Oh, yeah. The week episode.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna do right now. Daft Punk Harder, Better, Faster, because I know it's a little bit of old news at this point. Daft Punk broke up, but kind of a shout out to them. It's a classic track. Obviously, Kanye West sampled it, made another great track out of it. But fun little fact: the first album I ever bought and listened to, probably the first album I listened to, was Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, which came out in like 2013. It's not the album this is off of, but a little bit of nostalgia there for sure, especially with this song. I think I just listened to this by itself, but great track.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I remember I definitely heard Stronger by Kanye first, and then which is the famous sample, like you said. And so then I was at like sleepaway summer camp at one point, and the counselor was like playing us all this old music, and we were like eating it up. I say old music, and so one of the things he played was that, and we all knew the Kanye track at that point because it was, you know, on the radio all the time. And he was like, you guys had no idea. He wasn't being like an obnoxious old head about it. It was actually really funny, but it was like, you guys have no idea like that this is like the origin of all this stuff. And it's like, it was kind of cool, kind of funny. But yeah, I have a really weirdly specific memory about that. And then I think it was when Get Lucky came out. I was like, oh, who is this new hip like EDM group that everyone's talking about? It's like, I thought they were like, that was their like debut single was Get Lucky. I had no idea anything about Daft Punk's existence. So
dang,
come a long way.
I mean, that was
so David, when you say that it's your first album, do you mean it's like your first album that you've like entirely listened to?
Yes, yeah, Random Access Memories, which Get Lucky is off of. I think I got it the year it came out, and it was, I don't think I listened to an album in full before that. And then so I just had like random songs on my iPod, probably stuff that my sister had bought anyway or whatever, because we had our iTunes accounts connected. I was like, I need to forge my own destiny and go on my own path. And I'm like, let me buy this album. Back when I bought albums, of course. Right. Yeah, it's a whole new experience.
Dope.
Yeah, a good time. Great album, I would say.
Yeah. All right, that's traditions for you. I actually have a secondary fact for the episode. To maybe replace Trevor's tradition. Or not replace, but hopefully live in the shadow and try to give whatever. My second fact for the episode is that for this episode, Trevor does not have a quote.
Okay, nice.
That is a fact.
It's a fact. And we can quote Trevor saying, "I do not have a quote," and I can hear the quote.
That was just for Trevor, so he can scream when he hears that. That's all that was for. Whether or not the rest of the audience enjoyed it is not the point. But anyway, yeah,
we can imagine his reaction.
So that's traditions.
Yeah, it could be something like, ah.
That's what I'll do. Yeah. Yeah. Now, moving past tradition.
An unboxing life news update. This is where people get their news. This is where people get their breaking facts about the world, I think, right? Every week, week in, week out is Variety Box. That's where you come for your breaking news. So
we are journalists.
And
we're pretty much just incredible.
As I say that, my entire point about what I'm about to talk about is that I don't actually know really at all the extent of the full situation. That being the fact that I was surprised to not get an episode of we're recording on a Sunday right now, and so I was surprised not to get a new episode of Attack on Titan the final season today, and I was like, what is up? And so I looked and I went into the social medias of the streaming platforms and did the Google of like, where is my show, need good feeling, in like need dopamine. So I looked it up and it was said that there's an earthquake in Japan, and so that was the whole thing. Was I don't know the extent of that. Apparently, it was a 4.9 magnitude earthquake, and I believe it was on land. I know they have a lot that are offshore that really have minimal effect, or they have tidal waves and stuff like that. But or technically that's a tsunami. But so prayers up, thoughts are with you, anyone who's in Japan, if that did impact a lot of people. I don't know anything about casualties. I don't, like, it could have just rolled through and been a daily thing, but like some big building collapsed, and so I don't know if they're doing it out of respect, out of the fact that they can't literally like if Studio Mappa burned down or something, or if which is, I think, the most likely scenario is what you said, David, I think, is that they don't want to conflict with the news broadcast.
Yeah, that was like the only clue we had, was that Crunchyroll was saying something to that effect, like they didn't want to conflict with it. And yeah. Which
so wait, does Crunchyroll premiere the episode at the same time for like the entire world?
I believe the way it works is that they're not allowed within their license to publish it before the Japanese studios publish it themselves on Japanese TV, like live.
Okay.
I don't think it goes. I don't think I don't. I literally don't know if they must because otherwise it would be insanely inefficient if they like have it loaded up and they just can't like actually press the button that says upload, or if they literally don't receive it until it airs. I don't know which case it is, but either way.
Well, I wouldn't imagine that because they have to translate it for subtitles.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, one of the things I saw was that Spanish dub might already be out. Actually.
Oh, interesting.
Which is why somehow people.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah. Honestly, I could watch it. I think I speak enough Spanish and I could look up the words I don't know that I could figure it out. So, but I'll wait a day. I'll wait however long it takes. I think for the English, but.
It would be absolutely wild if imagine if the Western world gets the anime before Japan.
Yeah, I know, right?
I feel like it'd probably be a first. Yeah, I don't know.
That would definitely be a first
for obviously for Japanese studio origin anime as opposed to Netflix originals, whatever the hell you want to talk about there. So, but yeah, it was that's what we were going to talk about, was that some people have seen the episodes, and then obviously there's toxic AOT fans that are manga readers, and so they already know what happens. And so I actually saw a post on my anime list that said, don't look at the cancellation tweet from Crunchyroll because people are in their replies spoiling the episode. And I don't know whether or not, I could not figure out because I don't want to look into it hard enough to find out if this is the actual like series finale of AOT that was supposed to release today. Because they put out a trailer, which Alex, we talked about, was like, we felt the dumbest thing ever.
For one episode.
Yeah. But like, we also don't know because my anime list lists the final season as having 16 episodes. And this one would have been number 14. But a reality I can see is it being like a triple episode or something like that. Like they release it all at once or something like that. Because why make a trailer for a 26-minute? Like, they always do previews, but why make a trailer? Why you make a minute-long trailer that shows, like, a lot of the plot points of the thing if you don't have that wealth of material? So it's a lot of stuff that's making no sense. I'm talking on a podcast, working off minimal info and just stabbing in the dark at every option and hoping I'm right about a single one, and I'll probably just be wrong about everything. But
yeah, it seems the triple episode thing I didn't even think of. I was thinking that, like, maybe my anime list just had it wrong, and then this was just going to be the first half and stuff. I believe all I am sort of sure of is that there's going to be a second part, because apparently, like, the manga is, like we were talking about, like they would have to rush it like crazy to cover what's left in the manga, and hopefully they're just doing a faithful adaptation, and there's going to be more. Which, I'm happy that hopefully there's more, but we shall see, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say it leads us to that topic of people spoiling shows for absolutely no reason other than to piss everybody off and make their days ruined. If you're one of those people that spoils, frick off.
Frick off, indeed.
Yeah, that's actually. I know. I did my bit about no true altruism. That's the whatever the opposite of true altruism is. That's what spoiling is. I think that's true malice. That's true just being a dick for the sake of being a dick. Like you literally gain nothing from that, and other people lose like quite a bit. So it's
it's like
it makes no fucking sense. It's just like you're just trying to be an asshole. You're trying to be a troll, which obviously those people exist.
Yeah. There's a lot of versions of trolling, and I feel like they're all like on that level. I guess there's bad versions of it, but at least some, it's like you understand that you get the reaction out of it, and people just want that reaction, and they're very immature. But I feel like if you're spoiling under a tweet, I guess the most is you're gonna get is like an angry reply, and somehow you get off to that. I don't know, like it's insane the motive behind doing it. You're just being an absolute pissed.
I do think some of the people that do it, especially with especially AOT and I guess other manga based anime, I think they do it out of a sense of superiority sometimes too, where they just have this complex of like, oh, you guys aren't like true fans because you don't read the like legit source material. I think some people have that complex. I think it's a very, very small amount of people, because I think it's a very hard mindset to have. I think it's like that's, you're putting effort into that complex, if that's your case.
The manga elitists.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, imagine watching still images in black and white. Couldn't be me.
Boom! Shots fired at the manga elitists.
I don't have a problem with people reading manga, but I do know people who will be like, who talk about it because they know that they know it before you, and those people can freak off.
That is pretty true. Yeah, that I guess it's that you were talking about like a while ago. You just came out with that fact that like superiority complexes and inferiority complexes are all the same. My freaking mouth.
Yeah, they're basically the same term for the two terms for the same complex. I think.
People just love to obviously have some sort of issue where they feel bad about themselves, I guess, need to fill that hole with feeling superior that they read the manga. Come on, brother.
Yeah,
let's all chill out.
That's tough. Find an actual hobby as opposed to that. Start a podcast. Honestly.
There you go. Jesus. Yeah. We were connecting it a little bit before the podcast, how people just love to spoil, especially, I mean, I guess it's just because there's so many with the popular entertainment stuff, but like when I was watching Game of Thrones, it was like, oh yeah, if you haven't seen literally the latest episode, like the next day, people will spoil it on Twitter, like Endgame, the biggest stuff. People just love to spoil stuff, and it's
we were talking about Endgame and how, because we got together to go see Endgame, some of us, and so we waited a couple weeks because of timing or whatever, and it was like the hardest thing to avoid spoilers. Like I'd be looking in my YouTube feed and they have thumbnails and titles and captions and all kinds of crazy stuff that I have to just avert my gaze from because it's like insane.
Yeah, it was part of it was me coming down from college. It was like right when I was graduating college, and it was like finals week, and so we were waiting to get together. And I blocked like all these terms on my Twitter, like Thanos, Avengers, like all this stuff, and I was like, I'm not getting spoiled.
I should have done that.
Yeah, right.
I got spoiled on Instagram, not Twitter, but
Instagram will kill you.
I'm definitely doing that going forward. Like when the Demon Slayer movie comes to America, Demon Slayer is getting banned on Twitter. Absolutely. I'm blocking everything until I see that shit. Yeah.
I'd seen it online somewhere, but I'll tell a little story, and like it'll probably be a minute long, and I'll spoil something about Endgame if you haven't seen it. So just skip ahead like 2 minutes or whatever. But I had blocked everything on Twitter, and I'm like, I'm being so careful, man. I'm finishing finals, and I was hyped to see it. Then in the freaking library, this giant library we have on the FSU campus, studying up in like the front room. This has to be like probably what do they come out on, like Fridays usually, I guess. Like I'm so like
the releases are usually Fridays. I think
I want to say it was then like Saturday or Sunday, like after it came out, like 1 or 2 days later, there was just this guy talking mad loudly on his phone, like, yeah, bro, like when Captain America went back and like saved everyone, he had to take the time stone. Yeah, he came back. That was him when he was old. It's like, all right. I just sat there like,
oh my god,
like you literally just.
That's actually like I feel like a worse spoiler than like Tony Stark dies, because people say like characters die all the time, and so it's like you can kind of in your head, like that's the one I saw was like. I was on Instagram and I just like was scrolling through and I immediately unfollowed that dickhead meme page, but it was literally like I just scrolled 2 posts down on my fucking Instagram and it's like Black Widow, like just a list of characters who die in fucking Endgame. And so I was watching it and one of them ended up being wrong. I forget who they said died that didn't. And so I was like, okay, maybe the rest are wrong. But I also was so focused on the movie that I kind of was able to put it out of my head a little bit. But I also kind of knew that like the way the movie's tracking, it's gonna probably end up in a heroic sacrifice of some kind. So it's like that's all of that. But yeah, that drove me. I was like. Now I literally just can't touch Instagram at all. It took me like, it was literally like fucking get Endgame spoiled, speedrun any % or whatever. It was like open Instagram, scroll down barely anything, and that's a world record for getting spoiled on a blockbuster release.
Yeah, Instagram is like that. Like it's, I mean, with what we were talking about, Attack on Titan, that's why I caught up. I usually like wait till it's over, the half is over, but like I would hit explore and there would be like several things about like Aaron this and whatever, like all right, I should have just like deleted the app, honestly, but I was like, all right, this is way too much, so I had to catch up. But
it's nuts to me.
Yeah,
to me that David got spoiled in a library where homie's talking loud as frick. Like, what are you doing?
You really should have just incited a mob and like strung him up the flagpole or something. Like just like hang him from the flagpole by his underwear. Like just.
That's what. Dude,
I was thinking that's so fucking dumb. Was he? Do you know?
Huh?
I was gonna say, do you know if he was doing it as a bit, like to be a piece of shit, or was he like actually having a conversation with a friend?
No, it sounded like a really real conversation. I don't think it was. Yeah, if he was doing it as a bit, it would have had to be some like prank video or something. Which
that's what I was thinking. Like, I can definitely see like spoiling Endgame for people in a college library in all caps on YouTube, and it has like 5 million hate views, and it like got like 90% dislikes. I can see that happening.
Yeah, because it's like I was thinking about the thing. Like you're talking about stringing him up. Like he is saying it. It was like the room, or it's a giant room, but like even the area we were in. Just full of people like at tables studying, like,
and it's a library.
Yeah, it's
so
a library.
If you're talking at all, people can hear you.
Yeah, packed full of college students who like the Marvel movies. I mean, everyone does, but the young people are seeing the new movies.
Yeah,
and like just shouting it out, like the end of Captain America's entire arc, like.
As a character.
Yeah.
As a character in this.
I literally looked around for other people who were like staring at this dude, because I stared at him for like a minute, and I'm like, I left the library, and I was just like, I got mad at myself because I was like, I usually study with headphones in, and it's like one time I didn't. I was like, I should have listened to music and whatever. It was
should have strangled him with the headphones.
Yeah, I know, right?
This kind of reminds me of something I seen pretty recently. But I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but so Endgame, like globally, was like the highest grossing film of all time, right?
Yeah.
It is no longer the highest grossing film anymore. And could you guess what is? Endgame like made like 2 point something billion. It's the highest grossing movie globally, and now it's no longer. It's freaking Avatar again.
Came back.
Oh, really?
Because it was re-released in China apparently, and it made however much more money to go over Endgame again. It's absurd.
I like how Endgame beat it with the re-release in a way, coming out again, and then Avatar just says, "I will freaking see you on that one."
10 years later.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And the only reason it was like number one at its time because that was like the peak of IMAX 3D and all that, and tickets were like absurd to see it in that version.
The hype surrounding that movie was absurd. It's like nothing else I've ever experienced, because it's exactly like what you said. It was the dawn of like 4K IMAX. And so it was like the entire lead up to that was like, oh, he spent 4 years making the movie. It's techniques that have never been used ever in filmmaking. It's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in existence. It's James Cameron. He directed Titanic, which is another one of like the most beloved movies of all time and top grossing.
And it's top 5,
and so it was like the message coming from everyone, with all of us knowing nothing about what this movie even was you have to see it. It was like this is the cinematic experience of a lifetime, and if you miss out, then it's like missing out on the biggest thing that anyone could ever experience. So it's just
did you guys buy into the hype at the time? Did you like see it, and like how did you feel about it when you saw it?
I'm pretty sure I saw it on HBO 5 years after it came out.
I definitely saw it. I can't remember if I'd seen it in theaters or not, but I definitely saw it pretty close to when it was released.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I fully bought into the hype, or like I think someone had to encourage me to go watch it. But when I went and saw it in IMAX 3D, and I mean, people need to maybe give me a break here, because I was like 12 or something. But when I walked out of the theater, I was like, that's the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, it's a good movie, and it was cool. It was cool as fuck. And if you were only 12, then yeah, you hadn't seen a lot like that. Yeah. I was talking about it was overhyped as if that was untrue. It was incredible filmmaking, especially for the time, and it still holds up, I think.
It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think personally, it's funny because my opinion of the movie has decreased, but the theater experience was amazing, and like the 3D was like the best 3D. But now when I catch it on TV, I'm like, wow, I really thought this was the best. I mean, shout out to anyone who loves it. That's great, but I'm not. I don't know. It doesn't hold up to me, but.
How
and
long
now
is
Disney's
that movie?
about to hit you with a trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I'm excited. That should be cool.
Yeah, I'm
interested.
Let's see what it is.
Because I like the world building they do and all that stuff, and it's a cool like alien society type thing. So I'm always game for those kind of stories.
That's true. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Wait, what was Oh, I lost my train of thought.
I'm trying to remember how long Avatar was, because I think I saw it. Yeah. I think I saw it on actually like FX or something. So it wouldn't like not HBO, meaning there would be commercials. So I think the entire
it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really? Oh, it's Titanic. That's like 4 hours long, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Titanic is a long. I remember seeing that when I was young, and it was like super rough. I'm like, yo.
I still haven't seen that
movie. So,
but what I was gonna say was that I think the movie is so long that like with commercials every however often, it's like a 4-hour time slot on cable TV.
Yeah.
It's like absurd.
So. It's a lot. God dang. Imagine watching. I can't watch movies on cable anymore. That might be why I think of it lower. Like the commercials just kill me. Like I'm just so used to the internet age.
Oh yeah, dude. It's I was watching like Civil War or something came on FX while we were like eating dinner or something, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it was like literally 4 to 6 minutes of commercials every 20 minutes, and I was like, this is why I spend the $8 a month for Crunchyroll Premium. Like this is exactly why, and especially because cable ads aren't even as bad as the freaking Crunchyroll ads that are like the same 4 thing over and over and over again.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, the merch ads. Yeah. Which is like, it's not even like I can dig into long movies. Have you guys seen the Lord of the Rings extended like editions? They showed them in a theater near me, like all 3 of them, like week to week recently. And
Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings is another one that people rave about that I've literally never seen on purpose. Like I know a lot of the plot points because it's constantly referenced and quoted and all that stuff, and it's old and famous, and people are crazy about it. So, but I've seen like chunks of them, but they're super long for sure.
Yeah, the extended editions are each like around 4 hours. I think 2 of them are like longer than 4 hours. It's nutty, and it's a trilogy.
That's long form entertainment. You got to be zoned in, or you gotta when you do that, you have to make sure you're not like wasting time with bullshit. Basically, like if your movie is boring for an hour straight and it's 4 hours long, you're just like, why am I here?
Yeah, that's so true.
I don't know. I haven't revisited Lord of the Rings in a long time, but and I obviously am a fantasy guy. I love all that concept in that world building style, but I just remember those movies being so long when I watched them, like a tale of the Tale of Two Towers, or is it called that?
Two Towers, yeah.
The Two Towers. I remember that movie just being long for like seemingly no reason. I might have to revisit it, and I don't want to hate on it, but I do like those movies.
That would be interesting. I was thinking if we ever like reviewed movies, it'd be a fun one to do.
Yeah, if we ever review movies, we're gonna have to. I have to decide. I'm warring in my head of whether we stick with the like consistency of if we just say movie box, or if we go with the pun that would be box office.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
But then unless you get the pun, it doesn't actually like sound like we're covering movies. But I don't know. I guess box office is only ever used when you're talking about movies, right? So
it could be a suitable term too. There you go.
It's a less common thing, but I don't know. I would like to review movies though. I think it's an easy step for us. You're saying, Alex? Sorry, I was talking over you.
I'm just saying, Lord of the Rings would be dope to do if that time ever comes for us to review. And I know the Hobbit trilogy like came out and it gets a lot of hate, but like I actually enjoyed those movies. That was like it came out when I was in my teens, and I remember going to the movies to like see them, and that was a huge part of my movie experience, and I just enjoyed watching them. I don't know if I enjoy it as much now, and then I remember just seeing people on the internet hate on them. I'm like, damn, I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta stick to it if you like it. But
that's another thing that's crazy to me. We talked about our generation being like very different from basically anything to come before it because of how we live with technological advancement and stuff like that, where we remember all the like, analog type tech and whatever, and then but now we use iPhones like expertly and all that good stuff. So, but a part that's crazy to me about that is the entertainment golden age we're in, the just outrageous amount of incredibly good content that's just pumped out over and over and over again, like year after year, is like I think we're special in that as well, to like to say like, oh, this movie that is like someone's favorite trilogy, favorite series of all times came out in my teens, and that's gonna stand for like the next like 20 years or something like that. And you can say like, oh yeah, I was just a kid when that came out. It's like when people who are were kids in the 80s like talking about seeing Star Wars to begin with, but I feel like we get a Star Wars caliber movie like once or more than that a year, and then that's not even counting TV shows and anime. It's like it's absurd to think about for
a lot of people that obviously I wasn't alive to see, and I've seen it pretty recently, is like Back to the Future. And like my dad talks about like going to see that movie as a like young in his younger years, like in theaters, and that's a movie that I thought still holds up pretty well and people really love.
Yeah.
It's Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I wonder if we get those like big experience. I think I guess we get those experiences with something like an Endgame, but we get a lot of great stuff, and then it's like occasionally when something is super built up, we get that same experience of like the Star Wars or the Back to the Future, and it's like, it's still but I always wonder about the different theater going experience. Like they never saw like something like Star Wars like in any way, and now I feel like so much stuff has been done. It's like not quite the same, but not that I'm complaining. It's freaking great,
I definitely think about that when I think about the people who are like native Star Wars fans. It's like that's the first time they had ever seen anything like that, and like the fact that the "Luke, I am your father" line was like a complete mystery up until that point. Like barely even the cast and crew knew. Like apparently, I think Mark Hamill even got like a different script. Like that's how big of a point that line was to make. And now that since that's been done, the whole like the villain is a member of my family trope is like had been done over and over and over again. Let alone all the light swords and the space stuff and like all that stuff was completely groundbreaking in making entertainment like that. So that's really cool to think about for sure.
And then, because also what Alex was talking about with people like reviewing, like you like the Hobbit series and you go on and like people are trashing it like online, like just the effect of there's so many people just making video essays or like writing reviews that you can read immediately, that it changes my like how I think of stuff so much. I'm like I get more analytical, I feel like, and I don't know. I think it's a good thing, but it helps me understand the movies better, but it can be weird sometimes.
That's actually an insanely good point too in terms of consuming entertainment, is with social media, like you can talk about like whatever you want with thousands of people instantly, and so then Alex has this informed opinion of like, oh, people think this is trash, like, oh, whatever, like people don't like this as much as I do, or they like it way more than I do, that kind of thing. You get that immediately, like you were saying, like people will turn around and write a review while they're in the frickin' theater. So it's like, but like if you just went and saw it with a group of friends and you all loved that movie and you're just like talking about how cool it was, you'll never know that like some asshole down the street is like gonna trash it like completely and tell you that you guys are dumb for liking it. Like that experience didn't exist.
Yeah,
I think when I was like younger, I think I'm definitely growing out of this now. But I used to like defend movies that are trash just because I guess I want I don't want to think that I wasted my time.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't think that's uncommon. That was like I think I've grown out of that. I think I did the same exact thing actually, and I think I've grown out of it largely because of like the shorter series or TV shows that I've watched that I now like recognize are garbage, and I can say like, oh, it's garbage. And so once you get in the habit of doing it, and you say like, okay, whatever. But yeah, you're completely right. I think I did that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think the movie experience is better in an actual theater, just because you have, you're in a dark room, you got the surround sound, and it's crazy. But like when we went to see It Chapter 2, for instance, like I think I had a good time for the most part, just because just being with the boys and chilling and going to see a movie. But then like I get out the theater and I'm like, yeah, damn, I spent 2 hours of my life watching this, and then I keep thinking about it. I'm like, it's really not that good. Like all the scares are just jump scares, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not actually terrified when I go to sleep.
Yeah, I felt exactly the same about that movie. Yeah, and it's that whole the theater experience. There's so much to it because you get out there, you talk with your friends about it. You're like, "What did you think?" Because I was like, I think I even remember I was like, "Oh yeah, that was good," and then immediately my opinion was like Trevor was like, and like we start talking about it, and it's like, yeah, I start thinking about it, and I don't know. It's a lot of fun just to even like you don't even have to go online. Just have that freaking debate amongst your friends or
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good to have people. That's why the podcast exists, is because we like talking and debating that type of content for sure. And that's why I think theaters will. I've made this point of the podcast before, somewhat to Trevor's debate. Is that I think theaters will never die out. I think they'll go like down in size to where you actually have to go on like a 30-minute drive to go to a theater to see like a real movie. Like, or not a real movie. What I mean is like an Endgame, right? Like a cinematic experience, like something that you want to see in a group. Because like I definitely, absolutely enjoyed those Marvel movies more when the stadium is literally when the theater is literally like packed to the gills, and like and like every single move, every single action, every single like when he lifts the hammer, right? It's like, and people are clapping and shit, and you're like, you don't get that on the couch at home. Like you have like your two friends, but you don't have like the stadium experience. Like watching like actually like that's very true with sports too. Like I don't think I've watched an entire regular season Red Sox game on the television in like a decade. I don't think I've actually like sat down and been like, okay, I'm gonna watch the Red Sox play the Orioles tonight and watch the entire thing. But I will go watch a terrible Red Sox team play a terrible other baseball team at that point at the stadium 10 times out of 10. I'll always do that because I love stadium sports. It's like being in the crowd, cheering with people, being part of the community that all wants to support the team is like very fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I definitely agree with that for sports, but I don't know. There's something about, I always get hyped if I walk into a theater and I'm like the only one there, or like whoever I'm with, we're the only people there, and it's just like, yo, we got the theater to ourselves.
That's funny. That's cool in and of itself. Yeah.
It's funny. I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead.
Right. Nothing. It's just like, I don't mind people like being verbal, but then sometimes I'm just like, when I'm trying to enjoy the movie, it's just shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear you. I'm listening to the movie because I could miss something. I don't want to miss something.
Yeah. It's like because my thing, I'm kind of different. I think maybe it's just for like big movies or like the Marvel movies where they have like the reaction moments. I always wanted to see the packed theater. I would even be like, if I'm trying to plan it out, like let's go at a time where there's going to be a lot of people. But then the empty thing is generally probably better. It's like a thing that I weigh in my head. Like, okay, if there's more people, it might be more fun for a big movie, but there's a higher likelihood that there's going to be like a couple people literally just having an entire conversation, like 2 rows up or whatever.
Yeah,
which is just baffling.
Or
as
a baby.
heck, or a baby. Yeah,
I've never had that happen. I feel like I would lose my shit if a baby was like crying his eyes out during Endgame and the parent just didn't want to leave the theater, and it's just like a wailing baby like talking over the dopest action movie you've seen so far. Yeah, that would.
But then there's also parts of going to the movies that's just trash in terms of the environment, such as you walk into a crowded theater, but now you have to pick a seat that you might not have wanted to sit in, or if you do sit in a seat and you gotta pee or excuse yourself. I feel like such ass when I have to like shuffle around somebody, like, excuse me, I'm sorry, and then you come back and do the exact same thing 5 minutes later to get back to your seat, and it's just like, yo.
Yeah, and people are never like look happy at you. Like, all right, come on. And I get it, but it's like I'm just trying to do what I have to. Yeah, or like you get in there and it's just like sticky floors or something like
that. Always happens. That's fucking inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Yep.
someone spills a drink or something else, no matter what. So yeah, that's that's an inevitability. There's definitely all those things, that drawbacks, obviously, that are basically any public place will have, of having to deal with other people's bullshit. It's like the other people are always going to be annoying. I'm introverted, so I'd like my alone time as well. I think when I went and saw Knives Out, I think it was just me and my dad in an empty theater, and that was cool, because that's like a murder mystery kind of thing.
Yeah. Movie.
But yeah, definitely. Yeah. You reminded me that I'd forgot I'd done this, but when I went and saw Endgame, I like planned out my day so that I drank a bottle of water like an hour before we left. So I knew my bladder would be completely empty, and then I just didn't get. I got like a tiny drink that I was like sipping if my throat was dry or whatever during the movie. But I just literally I ended up having to. I mean, because that's a long ass movie, so I think I ended up having to go to the bathroom like terribly by the end of it. But I made it to the end because I like planned out ahead of time, like to go in with an empty bladder. Because I was like,
we were pretty trash about watching Endgame because we had a pretty sizable group, and we wanted to like get together at first, so we went to eat at Chili's beforehand. And we're sitting there like, I'm drinking sweet tea. We're all like just chugging down drinks.
You're
and
not
then
thinking about it, yeah.
And then we're like looking up on our phones. When's the best time to pee during Endgame?
Yeah, we were.
And then we all had to pee, I'm pretty sure, at some point in the movie.
Yeah. Inevitable.
Yeah.
That's actually really funny that those guides exist. I forgot those guides exist. That's like if you have to, when do you go to a bathroom break?
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah.
But yeah,
that's great.
It'd be tough to pick a time in Endgame.
Yeah, I want to say it was like around the 30-minute mark, or that might not be right, but
yeah, and that's another thing because it was pretty short into the movie, and that's not when I have to pee. So
I know, right? That's like at a certain point you're just trapped.
It's like it's best time to go, but it's like, okay, that moment passed 30 minutes ago. Thanks, movie blog, appreciate it.
I know, yeah.
That's pretty lovely.
I love the culture of the movies though, and everything like that, and can't wait for it to revive, honestly, if we get out there.
And I'm not so sure if it'll die down to the point like how Cameron's saying of that it'd be 30 minutes away to go do a theater. I mean,
depends
I think
if you're in a city or whatever.
It depends on the circumstance of this pandemic. Obviously, movies are not booming at this time, but I think once it's no longer a pandemic and they start opening back up, I think it's going to get right back to where it was.
I hope so.
Eventually, yeah.
I could see either one, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm ready for to start back up again. Yeah.
For sure. Good thing there's no movies coming out that like I'm really trying to see. Like Marvel kind of like knew something was up because they kind of break with it.
Yeah,
and now they're about to get ready to start coming out. So
and then the next phase was already planned to be streaming service stuff. So they knew this is the new level of like The Simpsons telling the future. Is like Marvel knew that they were gonna have to deal with a pandemic and basically set it up so that they have no losses.
I would not put it past them to like consult epidemiologists to make sure that like they got stuff on time. Like, I swear they have stuff planned out like freaking masterminds.
Yeah, when you have that much money coming in from making a movie, I understand. I would believe I'd be in your camp of like, yes, they probably do spend the money to hire like insane specialists to determine those kinds of things of like, how can we make each more $1 million?
Oh yeah.
Right. Although they've been sitting on Black Widow for almost a year now.
That is the one. Yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I wonder if like it comes out and it'll be like if it hits and it's mediocre, what the reception will be like. Because I almost feel like there's that like, you know, like not addiction, but like that need, not with need. It's too serious. It's like that one you have when you see the Marvel movie and like there's one coming out like 6 months ahead, like, you know, 6 months later, you're like, okay, I can just keep getting the next one, and I'm hyped for the next one. And they like get you in that cycle, and now we're out of that cycle, and I wonder how people's like reaction will be to it. I'm sure it'll still be successful and everything, but
the itch.
I feel like it'll change it a bit. Yeah,
the
change
MCU itch.
I felt like they were kind of in this phase of, or this pattern of just having back-to-back movies and back-to-back hits.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Barry Bonds.
So at some point, at the end of the phase, they were gonna have to take a break to actually film more movies, and that's what they're doing. So I feel like they're gonna get ready to start pumping them out again. Like WandaVision just ended. Now now all these streaming shows are gonna come up, and all these movies are gonna start coming. Like we're gonna get Black Widow eventually, then the next Doctor Strange, and the next Spider-Man, and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm big hype for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I finished WandaVision. Loved it. Definitely was great to see some more origin on those characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, a lot of the backstory they tell is very interesting, and then obviously the way the show plays out. So yeah, no spoilers there though, because obviously that's very new. That's very new. I didn't know if even you guys have finished that. So
just not me.
Big recommend, David, and everybody listening.
Yeah, definitely. Any MCU fan will love that show.
Oh, I'm ready then. Yeah, I'll get the Marvel
and then Loki back. Too in June.
Loki, yep.
Yeah, Loki. Yeah, I know a lot of the female MCU fans excited to get a massive dose of Tom Hiddleston in their lives.
Yeah,
and me as well.
Me as well.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm really hyped for Falcon and Winter Soldier because they're those characters by themselves I love. But then their dynamic in freaking I think it's Civil War. Yeah, it's Civil War. Where like they have a lot of the meme scenes of the movie where like where they're in that tiny car and he's like put your seat forward and he's like no. It's like all this stuff and then they both see Cap like kiss. It's like Peggy's niece or something or granddaughter. I don't know. That was weird, but anyway, yes, and they have like this funny bro moment and like all that stuff. So their dynamic is really solid, and I think they can do a lot with those characters. So I'm excited for that. For
sure, I'm excited. Just because Falcon has been one of those characters that like. He's like a super supporting character, so you don't really see that much of him in the movies. So like I was always like, he's cool, but he's just there, for me at least.
Yeah,
so I'm like for him to take some spotlight, see what he's got potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, good time.
Mm-hmm. Anything else we're excited for coming out?
Well,
My Hero season 5, but we're talking about that on our anime box. If you're still here and you don't watch our anime box somehow, definitely check that out. The season 3 recording was definitely I think the best review we've done. Not necessarily the best season. I mean that is probably a contender actually, in my opinion, but definitely the best. I think most cohesive podcast we've done so far. So proud of that.
Anime box, yeah. Okay, that's some views.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime to be excited for. Like, when is Mob Psycho coming out season 2?
There's a lot of shows. Like, can't name one show. It's like, I hope Mob Psycho.
I was trying to think when it was coming out.
I
had Mob Psycho in my head, but I didn't. I wanted to remember when it came out, when it's coming out.
Yeah, no, I got you there. It's I don't know actually. I want to say, I want to say by the end of the year, but that's almost like a cop out answer. So
I couldn't
tell you. I'm pretty sure it's this year at the very least. Yeah.
I hope so. It's one of the ones I'm most excited for, probably.
Freaking the one that I want us to cover is The Devil is a Part-Timer. Got a season 2 announced after 8 years of existing. It was literally like season 1 came out in like 2013, and then they just never said anything. It wasn't like season 2 like in the works, like whatever. They just ended the show and then went radio silent. And then with no lead up, the actual studio responsible for it just was like, "Yeah, you guys are getting season 2."
What studio is that? Is Madhouse or something?
Maybe I could not tell you.
Madhouse Studio does not make season 2s. Like I don't. A lot of shows I've seen by Madhouse, so I don't know.
Yeah, the only one they did consistently was Hunter x Hunter, right? They never dropped that, thankfully.
Yeah.
Shout out to Madhouse.
Is there ever more Hunter x Hunter coming? Is that a thing?
I don't think so. I mean that would actually be the one I'm most excited for. But the manga, which I'm almost caught up with, is only like 40 chapters ahead of where the anime ended back in like 2012 or something. So
damn, an anime is real solid when the anime fan picks up the manga.
That's like the only one I picked up really. I might get into more some manga that never got adapted, but yeah, I was big into that. So
yeah,
we shall see. I don't think it will though.
I'm interested to do the Dayvision deep dive, because the way you talked about it when you talked about it on Top 10 was that, like, basically the more you learned about everything surrounding the show, the more you liked the show itself. And I always love doing that as well. So yeah. I'm very interested to learn to know what you know and have your perspective, basically.
Yeah, I'm excited to get all nerdy about that show for sure.
Yeah, the most outrageous thing to me is that we just like flip-flopped with random anime basically, and then now we're just doing My Hero. Do I list off the next ones we're doing on air?
Yeah.
Do I do that? We're doing a 3-part My Hero series immediately, and then Jujutsu Kaisen, which is ending soon, which we should have these next 2 weeks to or 2 out of the next 3 weeks to watch. And then by the time we're basically done watching it, the last episode will premiere. And then after that, we're going to do a 3 or 4-part series on Attack on Titan. So it's like, we're just like bang, 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 like outrageously good shonen, like back to back to back, after we've been doing like just whatever we wanted.
We jumped into the deep end. Yeah, I'm going to need a break after Attack on Titan. God dang.
Yeah. And I think we do maybe a slice of life, a nicer, softer one after that.
Yeah.
After all the bloodshed and war of Attack on Titan.
Sounds good. So look forward to that, everybody. You guys, anything else to say? I feel like wrapping up pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Oh yeah.
Tell us if you miss Trevor. I know I miss Trevor.
Yeah, we're all missing Trevor. Hopefully we'll be back next episode. Get ready for that. Maybe some moving stories, some apartment setting up stories for sure. That's one of the hardest parts. So, yeah. Thanks for listening to this 3-man podcast. It was a fun time. I hope everyone is doing well, enjoyed, looking forward to the future of your own stuff and of unboxing life. And it's been real, everybody. Thank you.
I guess I'll go next then.
Yeah, you're always after David.
I am, but yeah, there's 3 of us.
It's a weird thing.
We can 3-2-1 peace out, baby. At the end, we can do it all together, and it'll be scuffed as fuck. But oh well. Go ahead, Alex.
It'll definitely be. Yep. Thank you for listening, people. I love you all, and I'm grateful to be here at this time of life, talking to my boys, kicking it back, and I'm hyped for all this new media to consume. So. I love that too.
True.
Yeah, the one I didn't mention outright because we talked about it earlier was I think the hypest I've ever been for a single piece of entertainment is this new Demon Slayer movie, because of the numbers, because of how little I know about it, and because of the utter numbers it's doing. So, yeah, definitely interested for that. Definitely hyped for that. Hyped for a lot of stuff. Good time to be alive, for sure. Yeah, I think the average decibel level of this episode was probably about halved. So Trevor, we miss you. We miss you, baby. But yeah, so that's a bit of a quieter episode for you guys today. Obviously we benefit from that energy. Everyone loves Trevor, so so yeah. That's it from us, I guess. If you want to follow us on anything, you can do at Unboxing Life Pod and r/Unboxing Life Podcast. Interact with us on any of those platforms. We'll definitely shoot you a message back and have a conversation. So excited for that. So yeah, that's it. I'll say adios, everyone, and then if we get a 3, 2, 1, peace out, baby.
Peace out, baby.